This is for my knitting friends, because I do have some of those. And welcome. If you haven't been here before, welcome. And if you have been here before, I'm glad you came back. So, what I want to tell you about today is a pattern that I saw, actually a sweater that was on the table in my favorite knitting shop, Linda's Craftique, which is on Highway 10 just north of Orangeville. I live in Orangeville, Ontario. And she had this sweater and it was for kids and it was so cute. And I looked at it and I thought, yeah, if I'm trying to improve my knitting skills, why don't I work on something small? And I've been doing that, mittens, and you can always do hats and scarves and things like that, which I've done those things for years. Knitting shawls, because you don't have to size and measure and so forth. And I thought, why not knit a kid's sweater? And I have some kids in my life, little ones. So I decided to knit up a sweater for my grandson, showed it to my daughter, and she showed it to her daughter, my granddaughter. And I knew the next question that was coming, can I have one? So I started one in burgundy, not her colors. So I'm improvising that pattern and making it into an adult size for myself. And I pulled out some yarn that I actually had in my stash, and I'm making one for my granddaughter. So it's basically the same pattern in 3 different sizes with lots of different color wool. So I'm going to share that with you. This is the first one, making it for my grandson. Well, actually, it's complete. So I kept asking my daughter, could you send me the dimensions, the size, number of inches, centimeters from the underarm down so I can get the right length, and from the underarm down to the sleeve again so I can get the right length. And she kept forgetting to do that. She's a busy mom and she works full time. So I went with the pattern and hopefully it fits. And I'm thinking this is for a 2-year-old. My grandson's 18 months, but he might get some spring wear out of it. And the next fall he'll be 2. So hopefully it'll work. And if the sleeves are too long, we can always roll up the sleeves a little bit for him. So that would work. So that was my first one, and I like the way this is done. It's a yoke style. You knit around here, and then you put these onto. I put them on usually onto what do you call it? A scrap piece of wool. Hold those, and then you knit the body. And it's pretty basic. It's a 6 pattern follow or repeat. You do slip and knit at this point. Slip one, knit one. I love doing that. It's very quick. Next row is all purl. That's a little bit slower. And then you knit the alternate colors, the main color and your contrast color. Alternating that 2 rows, then 2 rows of your knit, your main color, and then back to the same pattern again. Knit one, purl one, and so forth. And I alternated the colors, and I graduated the color because I was using basically wool ends that I had in my stash, and it worked out. And I decided not to do the sleeve. The original pattern asks for a continuation of this pattern down through the sleeve. I decided not to do that and just add a bit on the end. So that's the one for my grandson. Then the one I wanted to do for my granddaughter, I thought it would be kind of neat. This is actually the back. And I know it's the back because it's where I join my new yarns, and it just has this funny little look to it. Again, I'm learning. So I'm learning how not to get that little jog in the wool when you're changing. But again, it's just the same pattern. And I have put my sleeve on scrap yarn, these stitches, and then I'm going to do the same thing, just a solid color there. And I'm going to create the body in just a solid color. And so just the yoke will have the pattern. And all of this is the same Estelle worsted weight wool, which the pattern doesn't call for, but I'm improvising. And this is the one for my granddaughter in the colors that she asked for. Now she likes purple. She's leaning towards enjoying yellow these days, so she wanted some yellow in it. And I decided to add the blue for a bit of contrast. And again, so the sleeves, the stitches for the sleeves are put on scrap yarn and they'll be picked up later. And I'm going to do a solid, the same as her brother's, a solid sleeve and then just a little pattern on the end before you get to the cuff. So finally her mom measured it out. Now her problem was she said she didn't have a tape measure. So I said, well, from the crux of your thumb, the bend in your thumb to the end, usually it's roughly about an inch. So I asked her, I said, just thumb it out and get a shirt that she wears and thumb it out and tell me how long it would be. And it's actually following the pattern recommendations in terms of length, the number of inches I have to knit it down, and then I'll knit a cuff on, of course, ribbing. And so that is my knitting, and this took me about 2 weeks because I was kind of waiting on getting some measurements which never arrived. And so that was very quick. This is very quick. You could actually do this up in a week if you were really dedicated. And this one's going to take a lot longer because right now all around here is about 230 stitches. At one point when I had all of the arm sleeves and body stitches on, it was like almost 400 stitches. So it's a lot of work, a lot of stitches. And you have to have circular needles that are long enough. This is 32 inch. When I want to try it on, I put a circular needle in the front and one in the back, and that gives me the expanse and I can actually try it on. So far it's working. I only had to pull it out once because I had too many stitches for the armhole and not enough for the body. And for me, I happen to know I need at least 220 stitches in the body to make it work, to make it fit. So, and I'm still menopause, so I don't even know if I'm going to be able to wear this, but maybe one day. And that's my investment in sweaters. First ones that I've done really like this. So don't be afraid to try new things. And if you want this pattern, I'll put the name of it down in the description. I don't yet know how to do links, but one day I'll figure that out because I'm new at this as well. I forgot to mention that I also knit this vest. It's got a neat drapery. It's also very neat, easy to do. It's a big long piece. This is the front. You use scrap yarn to mark your sleeve length where you're going to go, and you just continue on through the back. Get to the other side and continue on as well. It's basically one really big rectangle. Then you go back, you take out the scrap yarn, and then you can do sleeves. I decided to finish off the edge with some crocheting just to set it off nice, but I like the way it sort of drapes. Anyway, that's it. That's what I did in my spare time. This was yarn cotton blend that I picked up in Buffalo, and I finally found a use for it.